What is going on, guys? Carter here. Welcome to Edged Mindset. Appreciate you stopping by. It's really awesome that you spend the time to nerd out on knives with me. We're looking at a Kershaw, and I have not featured a Kershaw on this channel in I don't know how many years. I literally cannot think of the last time I've had a Kershaw. And maybe at 2 a.m. tonight, I'm going to think of, oh, you did one just 3 months ago. I remember you talking about it, or I remember myself talking about it, but I really don't think I have. Kershaw has been one of those brands I just haven't dove into very much outside of when I first got into knives. When I first got into knives, I checked out Kershaw quite a bit, but not so much anymore. But this one has caught my eye for quite a while. This is the Launch 13. As the name designates, there's been a lot of versions of this knife. They've all been pretty cool looking, but this one is just out there. This looks like something that Elijah Isham would have designed, to the point where it makes me wonder, did he? I don't see anything marking that he did, and I haven't heard that he has, but this is very reminiscent of a lot of his designs. Rest in peace. He had a very kind of futuristic, angular, with a lot of holes and gaps in the design, very skeletonized, and this reminds me a lot of his stuff. But it also reminds me of something that Batman might carry in his tool belt. So this comes in a lot of different colors and configurations. I went with the olive green because I don't have a lot of green, and I thought green would look pretty cool. And guess what? It does. It does look cool. And I'm also surprised at the size of this. When I looked at the specs, I thought it was going to be a little tiny knife. It's definitely not a behemoth, but it fits in my hands really, really well. Let's get some obligatory specs out of the way. Blade length 3.5. So yeah, it's not a small knife. I don't know why I was thinking it was on the smaller size. 8 inches overall, so really good blade to handle ratio. But the coolest thing, or the most impressive thing, is the weight on this. It is really, really light for a knife that size. 2.5 ounces. That is crazy. That is lighter than I even thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like 3, maybe 3.25. 2.5 ounces. That's insane. And you all know I love autos, and I try to promote autos as much as I can from a kind of a philosophical, I don't know. But I like to promote them because I think they don't get a very fair shake. A lot of people kind of cast them aside, and I know some of that has to do with the legalities of different areas, but a lot of that's starting to lift. But one of the benefits of autos, especially ones made in this style, right? You can have a lot of different autos, but the aluminum handled autos, they're super, super light for the size of the blade and the strength they provide, because this thing is solid. Like it is solid. This is put together very, very well, and yet it is feather light. It is quite amazing. So let's talk a little bit more. 154 cm steel, very capable. It is CPM, so CPM is a big deal. CPM 154 to regular 154 cm is a pretty big leap. There's a big difference there. CPM 154 is pretty dang good steel, but this is not a bank breaker or a super high cost item, right? It is made in the USA, and it is an automatic, so it's not a budget knife, but it's definitely on the lower end of the scale for automatic knives. So in my opinion, it's affordable. Everybody's going to have a different thought on what that is. I think these are going for around $130 or so, and I know some people think that's a ridiculous price. I remember when I first started in knives, I was looking at zero tolerance, and they were like $105, and I never thought I would pay $105 for a knife. Now, granted, this was like in 2010, so $105 was worth more at that point in time, but still, I couldn't imagine ever owning anything like that. So I know it's different for everybody, but in my book, this is quite affordable for what you're getting. You can see those grind lines right there. You've got that cool swedge with no flats past right here, which is cool because you get all these angles going on. Get this nice Warncliffe style blade. All kinds of touches on this thing. All kinds of little milling pockets. You've got the olive, drab, green paint going onto the blade just a little bit, and then everything else is just Beautiful satin with the Kershaw logo right there, Auto Kershaw. We've got some jimping up on the top here, which is functional, but definitely not super, super grippy. The other thing I forgot to mention is that green comes along the spine. Probably can't see that color. Maybe you can. But that green comes all along this spine right there as well, which is kind of cool. Onto the handle, a couple things that I noted that were cool is this pivot. You can see it's got multi-surfaces on this. Really, really cool touch. Not a circle, not just a standard pivot. It's got some cool artistic flair going on. Lots of pockets, lots of design. You've got all these holes right here. Almost a skeletonized spine. It almost looks like it's got a floating backspacer. Of course it doesn't, but a lot of cool stuff going on. All of the screws are on the back, including the pivot, so you have no screws poking out here. The only thing unsightly on the front of the scale is these screw holes here for ambidextrous carry, which is, you know, it is what it is. We got to support those lefties. This sports the deep carry steel bent pocket clip. It is not recessed, which is unfortunate, but still, it works quite well. The tension is really strong on it. I didn't think it would be because it seemed kind of thin, but it's quite strong. No lanyard hole per se on this knife, although I guess you could loop through right here if you wanted to throw a lanyard on here. In fact, maybe that's what that's for, is for a lanyard to loop right through. Nice and centered. The action is good. It is not super, super snappy. It could break in and get a little bit smoother. It's definitely capable. In fact, just after opening it, it does feel like it's firing a little bit harder than when I first got it. So a little bit of lube. I've not lubed this up. I forgot to for some reason, but it snaps open quite well. Really cool knife. The other surprising thing is how ergonomic it actually is. Because when I saw this, my first thought was, that is wicked. That is cool. I need to get one of these. I need a Kershaw Auto side opener. Might as well get one that's just out there design-wise. But I didn't think it would be comfortable. I don't know. When you see a knife like this, a bold design like this, a lot of the times you just don't think it's going to feel that good in hand. But this absolutely does. Reverse, saber, hammer. It's actually very, very comfortable. It is a thinner handle, though. So if you don't like thin-handled blades, I know some people don't. They like it to really fill the hand a little bit more. If you don't like that, then maybe you won't appreciate it. But in terms of hot spots and feeling like you have a good grip, my thumb goes right onto that jimping right there. I think it is, it's great. Feels really, really good. Look at that tip. That is a dangerous, dangerous tip. This thing will cause Amazon packages to just crap their pants. When you pull this out to open that Amazon package, it's going to be crying. It's going to be freaking out because this is an Amazon package destroyer. All right, guys, Launch 13, really cool little auto. Bold, bold design. You can pick this up at pvk.com. I'll have a link down below to this exact product if you want to check it out or check out anything else at PVK because I got a lot of cool stuff. All right, guys, I'm out.